Have you been looking to get into the real estate industry, but you're sitting on the fence because you're not sure if it's a good time to buy? Should you sit? Should you wait? Well, I'm going to shed some light on that topic today. My name is Amanda Ryba. It is my goal to illuminate to the world what wealthy people do with their money. And one thing all wealthy people understand is the real estate industry. And I am very excited to announce that I have a special guest that's here with us today. It's not just me today. I am bringing to you a brand new friend of mine, Miss Aundrea Beach-Greco. Her and I met through social media, and she is a mortgage professional. She's been working in the industry for over 26 years. She's based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And one thing that her and I really connected on was the fact that both of our industries have a lot of amateurs out there on social media that are spewing factual information that they believe is fact, but unfortunately 100% is just incorrect. So we've had a good dialogue about that over the past couple weeks, and we wanted to bring to you today information that is correct, that's going to put you in the right frame of mind when you're getting into the real estate industry. She is super passionate about educating people on this process. And Aundrea, I would love for you to take a quick second, introduce yourself to our viewers today.
Oh, hi. Thanks so much, Amanda. And yes, we have created a nice friendship and share the same passions of helping clients. I think it's important that people realize that getting a mortgage is the biggest debt that you'll ever get in your lifetime. And it's important to holistically bring that into your financial plan. And that's why you and I work well together and are available to help clients with those goals.
I agree. And I'm very appreciative of your time today. I know our viewers will be as well. And I've got a couple questions for you, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we'll kind of dive right in, but a lot has been happening with the economy. A lot has been going on over the last few years, especially since COVID. And given that we are a part of a dynamically changing global economy, with all of your experience coming to the mortgage industry, I'm curious, are there constants in the real estate industry that people can be aware of regardless of what's going on in the economy? Things that are always true?
Absolutely. So with the real estate market, there will always be buyers and there will always be sellers, regardless of the noise that you hear in the media and what's going on. And I think what's important for people to understand is that going forward, if you own real estate, hopefully someone's educating you on the power of leverage. If you're not in the market yet and you're that person waiting for the market to crash or for inventory or, whatever that might look like, it's important to get educated. And I mean educated from the right people, not just some of the noise on social media, but really finding a professional and a wealth team, I call it, of individuals that will help you so that you can make informed decisions with the data they gave you.
I love it, right? And it's so important. Like education is just so crucial. It's one thing that I'm obviously very passionate about. And, I'm curious as people are, I do meet with a lot of people that are looking to purchase property, maybe their first home or some rental property or investment property. I'm curious, what are some things that they should maybe be prepared for when looking to buy a house?
Well, a lot of times I think new home searchers, they think, oh, I bought a car, so now I can buy a house. And the qualifications for that are very, very different. So first and foremost, hopefully people are keeping an eye on their credit, monitoring what's going on, because if your credit's a mess, yes, you might be able to purchase a car at, 30% interest rate or whatever, but purchasing a home is not as lenient. So first and foremost would be making sure your credit's in order. And that's true for, some of the criteria with all lenders, because you can't get a home loan unless you have a certain credit score.
Yeah, that's very important. So guys, get on your credit if you haven't looked into that yet.
Yeah.
And also, what do you mortgage people, let's say you mortgage professionals, need from people to help them get approved very efficiently and seamlessly without being a hassle to you? Because I'm sure it can be challenging sometimes.
Yes. Well, we try to make the process really easy. That's kind of one of my superpowers and problem solving. But I usually tell people, if we're talking about documentation, that's one thing. But if we're talking about fundamentals, most people for the traditional Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac products will need a 2-year job history. They have to be working so we can show ability to repay. That's first and foremost. And then, of course, the other things come into play. We've already discussed credit. and they'll need some money for a down payment. Even though there are zero down programs, there are costs involved. So we have to just make sure that the clients understands with their budget and that they're being realistic, that you can't move in with, unless you're a veteran, $1, because some people can do that. But realistically, those are some of the basics and fundamentals aside from the documentation.
Good to know. Okay. And what about when it comes to making sure that they're picking the right team? Because as you know, right, real estate agents, mortgage professionals, same as financial professionals, they are a dime a dozen these days. So
Yes.
what are maybe some things that they could be looking for when they are, I should say, when they are looking to put together the team that's going to help them find this house?
So I think that, you know, I don't know about where you are, but here in Nevada, we have about 17,000 licensed real estate agents, and we only have a population of 2.2 million. So there's a lot of licensed real estate agents per person, and yet none of that is the right criteria, in my opinion. I think that you need to interview the person, check their experience level. Are they full-time? Is all they do? Do they have a pulse on the market? And are they going to be the best fit for you? Because, cousin Joe's sister's brother may have a license and say, I'll give you a deal, but that could cost someone thousands of dollars if it's done wrong. So my first suggestion when you're building your wealth team with your financial planner, your mortgage professional, your real estate agent, your insurance agent, and your estate planner is interviewing them, making sure that their qualifications fit what you're trying to accomplish. And you might have to go through a couple, and that's okay.
I love that you say, is this all they do, right? Is this what they do full time? Because
Correct.
I see that a lot in my
Yeah.
industry, and I'm sure you do in
Yes,
yours,
I
where
do.
they're part-time, right? Which isn't bad. We all have to get started
Right.
somewhere,
I
but
agree.
it also pays when you are looking to make the largest financial purchase of your life, that you're working
Yes.
with a professional, or if you're working with a newbie, that they have a professional by their side, right? That's a lot of times how we'll do it in my industry. If you are part-time, you
Yep.
kind of partner with somebody that is doing this, has been doing this for a while to coach you.
Yes.
That.
Exactly.
And just one last question, because, I am a business owner and I work with a lot of clients that are also business owners. And as you know, right, one benefit to being a business owner is we get to choose, strategically how we compensate ourselves for our work. So a lot of times business owners are either looking for reduced income, or we get a lot of tax write-offs, a lot of tax deductions. So it just doesn't look like we make a lot, right? Which I know, as we've said, you've got to show some income.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, as I do sit down with this type of clientele, what are some things that I could share with them to be mindful of if they do want to go through the process to get approved for house? Thoughts or comments on that?
Yeah. So I would suggest when you're doing your annual review with that type of client is asking, of course, are you purchasing a home? If you own a home, are you going to be refinancing? Because I think it's important that we're strategic with the tax returns. Because of course, if we're trying to show the lender ability to repay, and that's proven on our tax returns, then we need that income, depending upon if they're a sole proprietor or corporation, we need to show income and not write everything off. So there's that. And the other recommendation would be is depending upon the client's if they're purchasing, if they have a significant down payment, then there are loan programs that won't look at tax returns and how much you write off. So there's ways to purchase a home as a self-employed borrower using bank statements or a 1099 where underwriting doesn't look at traditional tax returns. And again, you're still getting the same benefits. So just forward planning is probably the best way to look at that.
So it's possible, is what you're telling me, which is good.
Absolutely.
That is one fear a lot of business owners have is, oh, I want to buy some property, but I got to show income and I don't want to show income. So like you said before, can't have your cake and eat it too, right? There's a process to that. So thank you.
There's solutions out there.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing all of that and taking us through it, because again, my goal is to provide value to the people that I serve, which purchasing property is realistically, guys, the largest financial purchase most people will make in their entire life. And we want to make sure that you guys are in a good spot to be able to do that. I know you also had a couple questions for me, things you wanted my input on as well.
I do, because again, I think that our businesses are very complementary, and it's important for clients that when you're looking at your wealth team to investigate the person that you work with. And I'd love to make sure that my clients can learn a little more about you as well. So help me understand with your process assessing a client's situation. How do you go about creating their plan? What does that look like for you?
Good question. So the first thing that we always have to do is sit down with the client and go over their goals, right? See what are some things that they want to accomplish in the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I'm always trying to get a timeline down. And then from there, we have to go over current budget, see where they're currently at financially, see where their assets are currently at, see what tax buckets their assets currently fall into, and how accessible their assets are to them. So if they have goals to make any big purchases or anything like that in the future, how easily can they access the money without penalty or tax implications? So there's a little bit of a roadmap that we have to kind of take them through in the beginning. And then from there, it's helping find the right products and services to put in place to reach certain goals, because I'm sure you are aware, there are financial products that are great for a 2-year timeline and completely different ones that are great for a 10-year timeline. So it just depends on timeline for the goals and where their assets are currently at. That's the big one.
Oh, that's so awesome. Right. And tell me a little about with your practice, how do you incorporate mortgage planning and real estate investments in your overall financial planning strategies?
So important. Again, it dials down to asking those questions in the beginning about the client's goals, because I can't tell you how many times I sit down with people and they're like, asking you, what are your goals? Oh, I want to buy a house. Okay, great. When? I'm thinking, and then they start to think, oh, maybe in like the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, great. Where is this house going to be? Is it going to be in California where I live, which is, the most expensive place in the entire country to live, or maybe in Nevada where you live, where it's a little bit more affordable? Trying to get them to dial down on what this is going to cost them, right? And then from there, are we planning to put a down payment down? Do we have a down payment already saved? So I ask them a lot of deep questions to see where they're at, because my goal as a financial professional is thinking ahead, right? And helping them really plan for their long-term future. But purchasing a house could be a short-term goal. So I always try to make sure that if we do have that as a goal, there are certain products that you should consider going into that are more short-term. So on the real estate investment side, on the mortgage side, like, you just have to be very clear on what percentage of your income you want to start to put into that bucket, and make sure it's in an account that's accessible. Because I can't tell you how many times I see people start to put that money in things where, for example, like 401k accounts, IRA accounts, and they think, oh, no big deal, I'll just go take a loan from it later. You really shouldn't. Those accounts are not designed for that. And you could incur massive, massive tax implications if you do it the wrong way. So I always make sure that we sit down, we have a full conversation about it. Where are we going to be? What's the goal? What's the timeline? What's the budget? And from there, help them figure out what percentage is going to make sense to set aside to reach those goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super important for people because, again, with your advice, it helps them create a plan for their short and long-term goals, whatever that looks like. And like in your world, making a bad decision could cost them thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, well, can you tell me, how do you feel and collaborate with professionals like myself, real estate agents, lenders, and what do you think about the importance of that to your clients? How would you explain that to someone?
So important, as I know that we've kind of spoken privately outside of this call a little bit about this, but for me, my goal is just to provide value and to provide the absolute best service to my clients. I know I don't know everything. That is 100% true. I know my limits, I know my boundaries, but I get asked so many questions about real estate because I'm in the business of helping people save and plan and budget and all of that. That's always, I'll say, out of the majority of clients that I meet that are 25, 30 and up, that's a goal of theirs. If they're not in a house, they want one.
Right.
So for me, they ask me the tough questions on real estate. And to be honest, I don't stay that up to date with the industry because it's not my strength, right? That's not my lane. I know my lane. I stay in my lane. So for me, I love to be partnered with people like yourself, other real estate professionals, whether it's agents, advisors, brokers, that I can then say, hey, look, I can give you a little bit of coaching and consulting on this, but what I'd really rather do is connect you over to an expert in that field that can guide you through that process and answer any questions you have. That is not my lane. And it just looks better for me from a business perspective to say, hey, I collaborate with these other professionals in industries that coincide with mine. Let me just connect you to the people that can guide you through that process. Takes that workload off my plate, boom, sends it to you, or you can answer that question way better than I can answer that question. And I know that they're going to be well taken care of. That is my number one thing, that I'm putting them in front of professionals, like you said, people that have been doing this for a long time, that I know and trust will take really good care of my people. Yeah. And I do believe that you get more referrals, right? When you provide more service to clients and it's more like a well-rounded approach, just one specific area, you open up the doors to be able to really service not just them, but their friends, their family, and the people that they know, that they want to have the same experiences they had with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we call that the circle of cash flow.
Yes.
Keep everybody in the flow and make sure that they're being serviced from all angles. So yeah, I appreciate that. And tell me, what do you think? That's my last question. What do you think in today's environment is the biggest challenge for clients who they either think they should be budgeting, not budgeting, but they think they should be planning and investing in their future, but just don't know how to start? What would you recommend?
Honestly, great question. I think the biggest obstacle to that is people haven't sat down and had a conversation with somebody that is a professional at teaching you how to do it, right? Everybody thinks that I'll just figure it out on my own, right? I can create a budget, I can create a plan. But the reality is, if that's not the area of expertise that you have, and you have no track record of it, nobody in your family has ever had that experience. I mean, a lot of times we have similar financials to the people that taught us, right? Our parents, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, right? Unless you're stepping out to get coaching, consulting, or guidance in that area, realistically, the statistics are you're going to fall into the exact same tracks as the people that came before you, right? We just pass the knowledge, the lack of knowledge down from generation to generation. Yeah. So I really think that lack of financial literacy and the fact that the whole thought of, I can do it on my own kind of mindset comes into play, especially with people that fall into middle class America. Like, obviously, if that mindset didn't work for the people before you, how could you expect it to be any different for yourself? I always tell people, you hire a plumber because you do not understand plumbing, right? You could guess YouTube it, but realistically, are you going to do as good of a job? Probably not. You hire an attorney because you do not understand law. You hire a tax professional because you do not understand taxes. Same thing when it comes to your finances. There's so much information out there that really could be taken so many different ways. And it's important that you sit down with somebody that can coach you and guide you on your goals and your current situation versus really trying to just figure it out on your own. I will say, though, what would be helpful to us if you are at a point where you're open to learning is at least come with a basic budget. Come in with a budget and say, hey, look, like, this is what I'm spending, this is what I'm making, this is where I currently have money at, and these are my goals. And then from there, we can take a look at that. I always think of us kind of like your money doctors, right? We're opening up that file. We can take a look at that and see, okay, based on X, Y, and Z, this is where we can make some adjustments. And I speak from experience because I got into this industry knowing absolutely nothing about money, having just a 401k, a Roth IRA, and a couple bank accounts, thinking I was good. Little did I know that there was other products and services that were better suited to reach my goals, right? You can't know unless you sit down to have the conversation. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I find that that's a big gap in our society at any age group, that they're not exploring the possibilities of what that could look like. So I'm glad that you're here to enlighten us and share your wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely. And I think so many people, they just fear it, right? They fear reaching out for help because they think, oh, maybe I'm not worthy of it. Maybe I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank to manage. So what would a financial advisor want anything to do with me, right? And so many of the traditional broker dealers, they have minimums and they have quotas. They won't even work with you. I can't tell me how many, I would say, like, high-end firms I have come across that say, unless you have at least $500,000 in liquid assets, like,
they don't want to talk to you.
Quotas. And there are reasons for that, because obviously it does take our time and energy and effort to sit with clients, and we want to make sure we're servicing people the best way we can. And if you have too many clients, you're also not doing a good service to people.
Sure.
So I'm sure similar in your situation, right? There are reasons why we have to have limits, but I will say the most important thing is you just got to be willing to learn. And the same in your field. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation today, because it's just so important that if you're going to be going down the road to purchase a house, that yes, you also have your finances in order, but I wouldn't want to send you to somebody like Aundrea if you don't have it together. Like I had said to her before, I don't want to be sending people that are just exploring this. Like we want you to come prepared so that you don't waste anybody's time. Most importantly, we don't waste your time, and that we are giving you the information that you need so you can get through this process as seamlessly as possible.
Yes.
So we're very appreciative of your time today, Aundrea. I love doing this.
Yes.
This is
Thanks
so
for
fun
having
way to
me.
collaborate. Absolutely. And I know people are going to get so much value out of this. So if you guys are tuning in, we recommend that you share this with anyone that you can think of that's either going through the process to purchase a home, looking to get some financial coaching or consulting, because that's what we're here for. And I would love to connect you over to her. I know she's licensed to work in Nevada and I believe California as well.
Yes.
Excellent. How can they get in touch with you if they'd like to work with you? What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so you can find me online at AundreaBeach.com, or my phone number is 702-326-7866.
Excellent. And we'll have that in the description below too. So if you guys missed it, you don't have to worry about rewatching it. It will be below. And if you like this video and you want to see more videos, just like it, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you click that bell to turn on notifications because we release a new video every single week. And if you like collaborations like what we did here today, let me know in the comments below because we will bring more to you in the coming weeks. But again, this is one that was very important, honestly, kind of selfish for me because I wanted to learn this for myself too. But I also obviously wanted to bring this information to the viewers. So, Aundrea, we appreciate you. Thank you again for joining us. We wish you the best in your goal to get out there and educate and help people. And we look forward to another collaboration coming very soon.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody.